President Donald Trump spoke to reporters after his trip to Israel and Egypt, addressing key issues including the Israel-Hamas ceasefire, violent crime in U.S. cities, the government shutdown, and Ukraine. He called the ceasefire a positive step, reaffirmed his commitment to restoring law and order, and expressed optimism about resolving the shutdown. On Ukraine, he stressed America's support for peace and sovereignty. Confident and upbeat, Trump highlighted his Middle East diplomacy as proof that America is once again taking the lead on the global stage.
Okay, thank you very much. So this was really a historic day, to put it mildly, right? Wasn't it amazing? Even that last meeting, when you see the heads of those countries, those are serious countries, right? But I thought it was fantastic. And seeing the so-called hostages, but those kids come back home and the way their parents just went crazy. Your father would not be that way with you. He'd be okay, but he wouldn't be like that.
I would get a hug.
A hug, a minor hug. Okay, come on, Peter. Let's go. No, he would be. I'm only kidding. So, how are you doing? Everybody okay? Every good?
How are you feeling?
I feel good. I mean, it's a long day, right? It's a long day, and we did a couple of big ones. That first one was it's getting great reviews. I will tell you. There's a lot of meat in there. They're dissecting it and just playing it all night long. It's been very good. I think it's a very important day, because nobody thought this was possible. So it's very good. And the press has been very respectful, for a change. Doesn't happen often. Go ahead, Peter. Let's go.
What does it tell you about the world that it seems like you got a much better reception in Israel than you would get in, like, New York City right now?
I think I get a great reception in New York City.
I'm not saying that you don't, but it was on another level today.
Well, yeah, you're right. It was incredible. But I went to the Bronx, and we had 31,000 people in a park in the Bronx in New York City during the campaign. 31,000, you remember that? And it was the friendliest crowd you've ever seen, and very diverse, but it was friendly. I mean, New York is good. It's good.
New York City, bad example, but it was. I don't know if you can see.
Are you admitting you made a mistake? I don't believe it. This is breaking news. No, I'm
first
kidding.
rule of politics: never admit a mistake.
Never admit.
But it was in the motorcade. I don't know if you can see. There were people hanging out of every apartment balcony inside the Knesset.
It's okay. So I've heard, like, they said if you did Russia, or if you did, lots of different combinations, they say the Middle East blows it away. And I said, why? By experts. It's just thousands of years, nothing's been done. It's the whole thing with the Arabs, Jewish people, this, that, everybody. It's just never been done before. And there's a certain mystery to the Middle East. I mean, look, it's only because of ratings. You're only as good as the ratings, right? If they weren't getting ratings, your people at Fox would. And by the way, Trey is excellent.
He does a really good job. He and his whole team.
We did a very quick interview. I was running to the second one where we were pretty late.
Something that we heard from some Israelis on the ground, they want to know how the peace holds when you are not the president. So 3 years from now.
I can't answer it. I know this, and you are all witness. We go, and I get 25,000, 35,000. If you look at a normal president, we'll get 300 people, and that's not bad. They'll go to a ballroom, they get 300 people. We get 35. We had 117,000 people in New Jersey, and so I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I'll be out there fighting for whoever it may be.
Did you tell Bibi beforehand that you were going to go off script and try to get him?
No, I told him I didn't want to bring up the pardon, but it was just a perfect spot. It was good timing, wouldn't you say? Because he was getting a very good hand, and when they stopped, they said, why didn't you give this guy a pardon? If he didn't get a good hand, I wouldn't have done that. But the timing was, what do you think, Katie? Good timing for that one, right?
I think people thought it was pretty funny, yes.
It worked out well. It's a little risque. I'm bringing up a pretty sore subject in Israel, but the people were fantastic.
Mr. President, you spoke to Egyptian.
You can ask more questions this one here. Go ahead.
I have some good questions, I promise.
You do. You were very nice today. Go ahead.
You talked to President El-Sisi, and you spoke about in that room how Egypt has so little crime, and you said it's all about leadership. You talked about...
Well, they're very strong on crime.
You talked about some of the governors...
You wouldn't believe how strong, but they are very strong, but they don't have the kind of crime. They don't have the violent... They may have other kinds of crime, but they're violent crime. You can actually walk down a park and not get mugged or hit over the head with a baseball bat.
Do you want to see some U.S. governors be more like Egypt?
No, I want them to be stronger and tougher and not allow us to have record-breaking crime in Chicago and different places. I want them to admit they have crime. So there were 4,000 shootings in Chicago, murders over a fairly short period of time, meaning like a year and a half, I think. 4,000 murders. Many thousands of you're hit by a bullet but don't die. I want him to say we have a problem. Could Trump bring in the troops and solve the problem like I did in D.C., like I'm doing in Memphis? Have you seen the crimes way down in Memphis? So we've only been there 7 days. Way down.
The courts have been standing in your way here as
They
it's
have
held
been.
up.
No,
Are
the
you
lower
thinking about
courts
using
have.
the Insurrection Act?
The
right?
lower, well, I could use it if I wanted to. I could use it. Look, that's a very simple answer. I'm allowed to use the Insurrection Act. In fact, that was on Stephanopoulos today, his Sloppidopoulos show. They asked sloppy Chris Christie about the Insurrection Act. He said, well, if you're talking about the Insurrection Act, he's got the absolute right to use that. And he said a couple of things that were good. He said 50% of the presidents that served in office have used the Insurrection Act. And the Insurrection Act, according to all of them, said it can't even be challenged. I don't have to go there yet because I'm winning on appeal. You know, you're right. We're losing with radical left judges generally, radical left judges, and we're winning on appeal. So we'll see what happens.
I'll be speaking to Governor J.B. Pritzker tomorrow. Do you have any messages or questions for him?
Well, I think he should beg for help because he's running a bad operation and he's letting people be killed in his city because he doesn't want in Chicago. And I love Chicago. Chicago can be a great city again, and very quickly. I would have Chicago cleaned out, the criminals removed, we would remove them. You know, in D.C., we took out 1,700 career criminals, hard-line criminals. That's why it's so good right now. D.C.'s setting records the other way. It's never been so safe. And the restaurants have never done better business. They're opening up new restaurants. They were closing restaurants, now they're opening new restaurants. I can do the same thing on a larger scale in Chicago. And Pritzker should ask me to do it. But when you mentioned insurrection, I mean, you were the one that mentioned, one of you mentioned, Insurrection Act. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. And many presidents have.
Do you have an update?
50%, Katie, 50% of the presidents have used the insurrection because they don't want to go through this stuff where somebody said there's no crime and 4,000 people got shot. You know, right?
Maybe you'll have to use
You I don't have to convince because she tends to be on the conservative side.
Do you have an update on the Schumer shutdown and Democrats still continuing to refuse to vote for
shutdown? I mean, it's look, they want to have health care for illegals that have come in. Many of these people are criminals, and they want to have health care. And what it also does is, you know, we have nobody coming in now. We have it really locked down. If they start winning cases like this, we're going to have a rush on our border, because they're going to come up for health care and the other things that they give away. Look at Newsom, education, health care, he gives everything away. People come up for that. People come from other countries for that. So we can't have it. We can't have that. We have people coming into our country, but they're coming in legally.
Do you have any more meetings?
We have
with
the
leadership?
strongest border we've ever had. But they are coming in, Katie, they're coming in legally through a process.
Do you have any planned meetings with House and Senate leadership on the Republican side to figure out this week?
With them, I talk to them all the time. John Thune's been great, and Mike has been great. Speaker, he's been great. Those two guys have done a great job. But we're dealing with a bunch of radical left lunatics that have lost an election in a landslide. They don't even admit that. I mean, think of it. They lost the election 2,700 in terms of counties to 525. That's where the map is entirely red. They lost all 7 swing states. They lost the popular vote. And then they say, oh, the election was close. She says the election was a landslide. But they lie. You know, they can take any subject like Newsom does. He says, oh, no, Los Angeles is doing great. If we didn't go into Los Angeles, they would have had to cancel the Olympics. And the head of law enforcement said, and he said it very strongly, we could not have handled this if Trump didn't bring those people in. 2 weeks later, he said, oh, we could have, because he was told to say that. But we did a great job in Los Angeles. You wouldn't have, first of all, you lost half of it with the fires. And this would have been, I think this would have been maybe even worse. They had no control. When we went in, the police had totally lost control. And he admitted it. The head, whoever he is, whatever his name is, he admitted it very strongly.
What's your reaction to President Bill Clinton giving you credit for ending the war in Gaza?
I've always liked Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with him. He used to be a friend of mine. Came to my wedding, you know. So did she. A lot of people don't know that. But no, I've always liked him. I thought it was very nice, actually. And what is he doing? He's telling the truth. Because nobody else has been able to do it. Talking about the Middle East. Yes.
Mr. President, I wanted to ask you about your conversations with world leaders today. You said that everybody is unified over your plan, but we heard from President Sisi calling for a two-state solution, an independent Palestinian state.
I'm talking about something very much different. We're talking about rebuilding Gaza. I'm not talking about single state or double state or two state. We're talking about the rebuilding of Gaza.
What's the road ahead for governing Gaza? Because
a lot of people like the one-state solution. Some people like the two-state solutions. We'll have to see. I haven't commented on that.
how do you see bridging that gap, though? Because you have the Arab countries being very clear about
what I think is right, but I'd be in coordination with other states and other countries.
Are you satisfied? I mean, some people might say it feels premature declaring peace for the whole Middle East, 3,000 years of peace and so on.
You want more people to be killed? What do you want, another 300,000-400,000 people to be killed? Is that what you're looking for?
But in terms of the risks in Gaza, we're already seeing factions.
So you mean let them fight on for another couple of years and let some more buildings fall down on top of people and keep it going? No, we did it the right way. We did it. I think our timing was perfect, actually.
In terms of
you don't really mean that. You mean you want them to fight on, right?
I'm just asking about the phase 2 of the negotiations and how confident you are that those can get underway in the two.
We have a lot of power. That was a power room. Those people, those are the richest countries. I think now with tariffs, I think we're the richest country in the world, actually, the United States. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. But those are, really seriously rich countries, and they can handle it.
Some of those players, and particularly Erdogan, could they also help in the war between Russia and Ukraine?
Yeah, Erdogan can. He's respected by Russia. Ukraine I can't tell you about, but he is respected by Putin. And he's a friend of mine, you can see. Why? I get along with the tough ones. I don't get along with the weak ones. I get along with the tough ones. I don't know what that is, but Erdogan's been great with me. When NATO has a problem with Erdogan, which they often do, they call me to talk to him. And I've never failed in working it out immediately. Is that right?
It's true.
How's Caroline doing? Is she doing good?
How you doing?
Should Caroline be replaced? Huh?
That's up to you, sir.
It'll never happen.
Nobody wants to
It'll
stick
never
up
happen.
for me.
Look.
Great job. Thank you, Katie. Do you want
That
to
face.
elaborate on
And those, Katie, and those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
Do you want to elaborate on the countries you consider weak?
They really are? Okay,
Yeah.
what?
Do you want to comment on the leaders you consider weak who are in that room?
No, I won't comment on that, but you know probably who they are. But
Just
anyway.
briefly before we...
I don't know really. Yeah, there were a couple in the room, but overall, I thought that was an amazing group of people. I don't think they've ever seen an assemblage like that between power, money, et cetera, et cetera. There's never been anything like that.
On the way here,
So we're up,
said
but you know what? I have to, because the plane is going to take off. But
Are you
we'll
hosting
come back later.
Zelensky at the White House on Friday?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
President
Thank
Trump.
you.
Have a good time. Thank you, everybody.